Good morning to the viewers and good morning to you too.
Yeah. Now, Professor, we know that there was such growing anticipation just before the announcements were made. How important are these two positions? I mean, we've heard the history of these positions, so I imagine this was a massive announcement.
No, it was important. First of all, I think the president made the decision to appoint the National Director of Public Prosecutions a day on which it was a deadline set by the courts. He had promised the court that he would do so. And I think he did so in the nick of time, and that was something to be commended because we know that there's been a lot of dithering and dodgings and so on. So I think that aspect is important. Now, the position of the National Director of Public Prosecutions is a constitutionally embedded institution. It is so important to the criminal justice system because you have the police investigating crime and preventing it. You have the prosecution of any crime, and the national director is in charge of that. And then you have the courts. Without that functioning, the middle part, functioning properly, then you have a country of criminality where nothing really happens, and therefore there's no rule of law, there's no constitutionalism. So it is a very important position that Attorney Mxolisi Nxasana now has. And he has a lot of responsibilities. As you have already mentioned, this is a position that has been on-off, acting here and so on. And the last substantive national director who was there was found by the courts not to have been properly appointed by the president. The president was not rational in appointing the person. So this time around, I believe that the president has really tried to stick to what the Constitution expects, and the person who has been appointed is a person who is regarded highly. People say that is not high profile in the legal profession, but those of us within the legal profession do understand that is a person of integrity, both from the Law Society of South Africa, but also from the Black Lawyers Association, of which I'm a member, and I therefore think that is a person who is fit for that position.
All right, that's good to hear. You know, there's always been that perception that these institutions are used for political purposes. Is there a grain of truth into that perception?
Well, I believe that on the National Director of Public Prosecutions position, there is well-grounded suspicion because the decision which was made by the then acting director, Advocate Mpshe, that he wouldn't prosecute President Jacob Zuma in 2009 is something which is not regarded as having been done properly. And the reasons were not properly given, and therefore it is a matter that has been challenged in court with a process of saying, produce the evidence, which he used to say that because of those electronic so-called spy tapes, he wasn't going to prosecute it, undermined the accused position. And those need to be produced. So I believe that the new national director now has a responsibility of looking at that matter fresh and ensuring that he actually goes by the constitutional and legal requirements rather than by supporting the person who appointed him, that is the president. And we wait to see what he will do there. On the other office, which is the head of the Special Investigation Unit, that is not a constitutional office.
Yeah.
But it is also a very important one because it belongs to the investigation of serious crimes, but also it is one which I believe is strengthening the role of the police is strengthening special police units such as the Hawks and so on. And from that point of view, it is important that we have somebody that has integrity and ability and efficiency to be able to do the work. Yeah. The reason why the initial head was removed from it, that is Justice Heath, was because the courts ruled that having a judge also engaging in investigation of crimes and then he will go back to be a judge is a conflict in terms of separation of powers. So it wasn't done for political reasons. It was done because it is one that tried to make oblique or obliterate this separation of power paradigm which ought to be there, so that the courts are independent and the judges are not made to be investigators.
All right, Professor, unfortunately we've got to leave it there, but it's been good to get your views on this particular situation. Professor Shadrack Gutto is a director at the Center of African Renaissance Studies at UNISA. Thanks for being our guest, talking about the two appointments and very important appointments that have been made, the head of the new Special Investigative Unit and the new Director of Public Prosecutions as well.